With a star eyeing a WWE return and more, this is Wrestling Rambles, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Going over what could be in the future for Malakai Black, Ringside News wrote that Malakai Black's stint in AEW has been a mixed bag for many fans, as they feel he simply couldn't adjust to the company. Reports suggest he will be parting ways with AEW soon, and now WWE's stance on the House of Black member ahead of his departure has been revealed. According to a report by PW Torch, influential figures in WWE are strong supporters of Malakai Black and view him as a potential top singles star in the company. This makes it clear that if he were to return, he would likely be welcomed and given a significant role in the company. It was previously reported that Malakai Black also fought against AEW, extending his contract by adding injury time to it, as he had missed a lot of time because of injuries. However, they worked out a deal or are close to doing so, which will let him become a free agent soon. Malakai Black has been absent from AEW television since the Full Gear pay-per-view in November, and reports indicate he could become a free agent by February or March 2025. With signs pointing to him being written off AEW television, speculation is growing that he is likely returning to WWE, where he spent several years before his release back in 2021. Therefore, we'll have to see if Black ends up back in WWE, as fans feel Triple H will be able to book him better. Reviewing Penta's debut on Raw this week, AEW commentator Jim Ross noted on his Grilling JR podcast, "We had him here at AEW for a good while. Soft-spoken guy, no trouble. Hardly knew he was there until he got in the ring, and then he was phenomenal. But I was a little surprised at the hype. So what it tells me is that WWE and Triple H covet him in a significant way, where he's going to be in main events or semi-main events within the next year, if not sooner. Penta, we had a lot of that kind of style in AEW. He was one of many that did a lot of acrobatics and flying things. He might have been the best at doing it, I'm not saying that, but he wasn't the only one doing it, so it made it less special. WWE's got a good stock of luchadors. They got several guys on the roster that have that background. Just gotta be careful of how you book him." In some unfortunate news, a WWE Hall of Famer has passed away, with Ringside News writing that Bob Uecker, the legendary baseball announcer and WWE Hall of Famer, has passed away at the age of 90. Known fondly as Mr. Baseball, Uecker made a lasting impact in the world of professional wrestling, especially during the late 1980s. Uecker was a pivotal part of two memorable moments at WrestleMania. In 1987, he served as the special guest ring announcer for the historic main event between WWE Champion Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. He returned the following year at WrestleMania 4, where he became both a ringside commentator and backstage interviewer. One of his most iconic moments came when he was choked by Andre the Giant backstage after a few of his cheeky remarks set off the legendary wrestler. The image of Andre gripping Uecker's neck has gone down as one of WWE's most unforgettable clips from the 1980s. In recognition of his memorable contributions to WWE, Uecker was inducted into the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame in 2010. WWE Chairman Vince McMahon praised Uecker for cementing his place in WWE history with his unique presence at WrestleMania events. Outside of wrestling, Uecker was beloved for his 53-year career as the radio voice of the Milwaukee Brewers. He also found fame in Hollywood with his role in the sitcom Mr. Belvedere and the Major League film series, where his sharp wit and charisma were on full display. Uecker's legacy in both the sports and entertainment world will never be forgotten, and his impact on WWE will always be remembered by fans. In an update on the lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE, Ringside News noted that, in a significant development in the ongoing legal battle between Janel Grant and Vince McMahon, United States District Judge Sarah F. Russell has denied Grant's motion for a status conference. This ruling, issued on January 16, 2025, clears the path for Grant's legal team to file her amended complaint by the end of the month, January 31, 2025. The judge's decision lifted the prior stay on the lawsuit and allowed Grant to present any arguments she wishes as part of her amended complaint. Additionally, the judge rejected WWE and McMahon's attempt to move the case to arbitration, a motion they had filed earlier. The court's decision on the arbitration issue remains pending, with the possibility of reconsideration if Grant fails to file her amended complaint by the new deadline. This ruling is a critical step in determining the next phase of Grant's lawsuit, as McMahon and WWE had previously argued that the SEC charges against McMahon were irrelevant to the civil case, and that the case should proceed according to the existing schedule without delays. Now that the status conference has been denied, all eyes are on whether Grant's legal team will meet the January 31st deadline, and how the case will unfold in the months to come. Providing a legal update on Sunny, Ringside News wrote that WWE Hall of Famer Tammy Sytch has been dealing with serious legal troubles. As part of her efforts to shorten her prison time, she has requested that her sentences be served concurrently, which would allow her to spend less time behind bars than originally scheduled. According to PW Insider, on January 13, 2024, the Volusia County Clerk of Circuit Court updated the records for Tammy Sytch. The update shows that Sytch sent a letter to Judge Karen A. Foxman, who sentenced her in November 2023. Sytch is asking the judge to change her current 17-year prison sentence. She wants the sentences for her charges to be served concurrently instead of one after another, which would allow her to be released from prison earlier than her current release date of September 23, 2039. In her letter dated January 3, 2024, Sytch explains what she has been doing in prison. She completed a culinary arts program, earned a Serve Safe certificate, and has become a teacher's aide in a GED classroom. She also helps mentor younger inmates and speaks to them about making better choices. Additionally, she attends Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and receives mental health counseling. Sytch also shares her plans for after she is released, including working as a paralegal for her former business attorney and having free housing. She hopes to continue mentoring young people, especially in high schools, to teach them about the dangers of drinking and driving. Sytch expresses deep regret for her actions, which led to the death of another person and caused pain to the victim's family. She asked the court to consider her request to have her sentences run concurrently so she can be released sooner and continue her positive work. In addition to her prison sentence, Tammy Sytch is facing a lawsuit from the estate of Julian Lasseter, who tragically died in a car accident in March 2022 involving Sytch. The lawsuit seeks over $30,000 in damages, accusing Sytch of being intoxicated when she rear-ended Lasseter's vehicle in Ormond Beach, Florida, leading to injuries that caused his death the same day. The lawsuit also claims that Sytch's actions resulted in significant medical and funeral expenses for the Lasseter family. On top of that, Lasseter's adult daughter has experienced emotional distress and loss from her father's death. The legal proceedings are set to begin on March 25, 2025. Despite her fame in professional wrestling, Sytch's current situation is the result of her own choices. With her ongoing legal troubles and prison sentence, it remains uncertain what her future will look like. Therefore, it remains to be seen if she will serve a shorter time in prison because of her request. CJ Perry, who was formerly known as Lana in WWE, recently underwent successful surgery, with Ringside News noting that former WWE and AEW star CJ Perry, known to fans as Lana, is recovering after undergoing successful surgery in New York City. Perry, who hasn't been seen in the ring since her AEW release in July 2024, shared her journey with fans on social media. In a Twitter video posted before her surgery, Perry asked her followers for their prayers, saying, "Hey guys, I'm going into surgery right now. Please say your prayers for me." She tagged Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and thanked her doctor. Just hours after the procedure, Perry shared an update from her hospital bed, confirming that the surgery was a success. "Made it out of surgery. Thank you all," she wrote, expressing her gratitude for the support from fans. This marks the second major health scare Perry has faced in recent years. Earlier in 2024, she battled a life-threatening MRSA infection that began in her finger and spread to her arm. After treatments didn't work, she required surgery and IV antibiotics to recover. While speaking with Jackie Redmond, Seth Rollins talked about WWE and the locker room welcoming back CM Punk with open arms, saying, I'm not too surprised. I think if he and I didn't have the relationship we did, look, there's no doubt about CM Punk. He's good for business. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that, Rollins remarked. I understand from a business perspective why you would want him around. And a lot of these guys and girls in the locker room, they just don't have the relationship with him that I had. They don't feel that way about him. They didn't feel that way about him 10 years ago. They didn't know him 20 years ago. Punk is not tough. He dipped. He's not tough. I stuck it out when it was garbage. When I was getting dumped on over and over by everyone inside the company and outside the company, I stayed here. And so I took all those attacks from everybody outside of here, and from him very personally. Very personally, Rollins said, referring to Punk's public insulting of WWE during his company absence. Talking on his Click This podcast, Kevin Nash reacted to Hulk Hogan getting booed, saying, "Look at the play. The play was come out, tear that All-American shirt off, and have a Netflix shirt on." He thought that what he did at the RNC was going to work in LA. As soon as he realized that they were turning on him, he said, "Man, I've been doing this for 4 decades. In other words, f you guys, I'm Hulk Hogan. If you don't have enough respect for me to not boo me out of this place, f you. I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm going to get my thing out." I did hear that. As he walked back, he looked over to Jimmy Hart and he goes, "Man, you got heat. I've never been Hulk Hogan, so I can't speak for him. But I have traveled with him, and that's a different level than almost anybody in our business. To be Hulk Hogan and go out there, I did not think that they would shit on him, because the last time he came out was a couple years ago and he blew the roof off." And that was the news for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.